First off, we are thinking of everybody impacted in the Big Bend and Panhandle region of Florida from the recent hurricane. What's going on, guys? I'm certified meteorologist Jonathan Kagas. In this video, we're going to talk about drier days coming for cleanup and relief efforts once we get beyond Saturday, especially into the Panhandle and Big Bend area. But we are mainly going to dry out this Labor Day weekend. Then we're going to break down the forecast for North Florida, Central Florida, into South Florida. And then, of course, we're going back to the tropics. There's something way out there that we just need to be mindful of. Again, that's like 10, 14 days away. The tropics, unfortunately, still bubbling. 'Tis the season, of course. We are going to break that down. We're going to talk about everything that's out there. Before we get into the video, if you do want to stay updated on all things Florida weather and as we venture through the rest of the peak of hurricane season, you have to hit subscribe. If you find this content helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help us out a lot. First and foremost, we're going to start with the Central Florida radar. We're going to talk about the pattern change, and then we're going to get into the tropics as well. There's 4 o'clock on your Friday. If you are starting Labor Day weekend early, hanging out Friday evening, there you go. I think most of Central Florida dry, other than a few stray showers, hanging on to the west side of Orlando and mainly towards the Gulf Coast of Florida. There's 7 o'clock. I think most of your day on Saturday is dry too, other than a stray passing downpour. That's 8 o'clock on your Saturday. We're looking pretty good through Central Florida. Once we get into tomorrow for your high temperatures, right where we should be for this time of the year. High temperatures on Saturday back to the lower 90s. A few of us, especially along the coast, staying in the 80s. Note the pattern change, and here we go. We are looking at the atmospheric moisture. The darker the reds and oranges, the higher the moisture content in the atmosphere. Here is Idalia hanging up, at least the moisture associated with it. You see the moisture plume, though, still extending all the way back through Florida, parts of the deep south. We are looking for this blue color. Big chunk of high pressure developing, moving in behind Idalia, and that blue represents the dry air in the mid-levels of our atmosphere. And you see what happens as we get into Sunday. We're still going to keep some drier air towards the Panhandle and Big Bend, Gulf Coast of Florida for Saturday. That's where we're going to be dealing with some of the rain chances. But by Sunday into Monday, look at all that blue, look at all that yellow. That is that drier air punching in again as high pressure anchors itself over the southeast corner of the United States. So there we go, 4 o'clock again, the rest of your evening in Florida. Most of us dry out. The trouble spots, at least, is we're going to be dodging some rain showers, going to be to the western Big Bend and then to the Panhandle. So Port St. Joe, Apalachicola towards Pensacola with those scattered downpours around. Note, as we start our Saturday, there is 9 a.m., most of the Florida Peninsula is going to be on the drier side. Now, once we get into the afternoon, you saw up there that flare-up of thunderstorms toward the Panhandle. There is 9 o'clock on Sunday morning with more scattered storms around. Most of these are going to focus west of the Big Bend towards the Panhandle. 4 o'clock on Sunday, evening, afternoon, no matter how you look at it. Scattered storms still just right around the Pensacola area. Most of the Florida Peninsula, though, drying out for Sunday and Labor Day Monday. In terms of the forecast for tomorrow, again, we are going to be on the drier side further inland and towards the east coast of Florida, but it's the North Gulf Coast, Panhandle region, Tallahassee. We're back up to a 40% shot for storms, 88 degrees, a little cooler in Bonifay as those storm chances a little more prolific for us as some of that drier air surges in. We'll fire up some storms on the leading edge. 60% shot for storms in Panama City, Pensacola. We'll see temperatures in the low to mid 80s. We'll see a 60% chance for rain. Apalachicola, we're about a 60% chance of rain. Cedar Key, much drier for us. We need that as well as we continue those cleanup efforts again from all the storm surge that came on through from Idalia. 20% shot for storms in Ocala. We're at 87 degrees, 10% chance in Daytona Beach, Lakeland. What's going on? We'll see a 20% chance for storms. We are back into the upper 80s to around 90 degrees as well. South Florida will have a relatively higher chance for rain right on the southeast corner, and then I think we start our dry period once we get into Saturday afternoon, and then much of the rest of Labor Day weekend, high temperatures back to around 90 degrees. All right. Tropics still bubbling out there. We have a few named storms. We have Franklin out here. There's Franklin still going. We have Jose. We have Gert in there somewhere as well. Just a messed up cloud mass at the moment. It redeveloped early on September 1st. So it's a tropical depression. It could become a tropical storm again. And then we have just a swirl out here. You really can't even see it on the satellite view of Idalia. All of this mess out here, though, is moving away. So we are not concerned with those 4 systems that are still kind of swirling out there to the northeast of Florida. Not concerned with this one either. This could get a name over the next couple of days. That one is going to lift itself way out here and not be a threat. It's this orange blob here. This is the zone of potential development there as designated by the National Hurricane Center, and it's because of this guy right there that's coming off pretty low on Africa. We never like when these things emerge low because it does give it a better chance to get out into the Caribbean and then come out in this direction. Not saying that that's going to happen. Some models do have it staying pretty low. Others have it coming pretty high and then kind of curving out. We're going to start with the Euro. And again, this is way, way out there. We have a lot of time to watch, and things are no doubt going to change. But it's going to be this guy here as we move towards September 6th. Again, there is the development zone area, that little ball there. It gets close to the Caribbean. And then there's September 9th and 10th on the northeast side of the Caribbean. It's going to get close, it looks like, at least from a Euro perspective. That one should turn according to the Euro model. And the GFS is a little different. If you've seen like long range stuff like 14 days out, the GFS wants to put something kind of coming up in that direction through the Bahamas. Again, this latest run here will take everything out. And again, the only concern we have out of all these red swirly masses that we see on the screen is that one that is going to be super far out. And you do see it does keep it low. And we never like when these storms are low because, number one, they could interact with the Caribbean. Number two, they could always curve and get into the Gulf of Mexico or move up to the southeast corner of the Atlantic. So that's going to be something that we watch, of course, over the next couple of days, over the next 7 to 10 days. You see there's September 11th, 1 o'clock, and we have even another mass here that would have no merit on the United States, but a few more named storms possible as we go through September 10th, the climatological peak of hurricane season. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I want to thank everybody that tuned in to the 17-hour live stream as well on this channel as we tracked Idalia. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for all of the questions. I wish it was sunshine that we were getting together, just having a hangout live YouTube weather session on there. But of course, we were watching a high impact storm for our friends in the Big Bend. We're thinking about you today. And again, we are watching all eyes again, of course, as we move through the peak of hurricane season, which can't end soon enough. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you want to stay updated, again, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up if you found this content helpful, and we will catch you next time.